Welcome back to Clean Titans. Today we are focusing on the vital role of renewable energy in Africa with Habeeb Aforolagba, founder of AFREN, African Renewable Energy Network. Habeeb, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
We're thrilled to have you. AFREN is at the forefront of driving Africa's renewable energy revolution. To begin, could you provide our audience with an overview of AFREN and its mission? Can you just give us a little brief introduction and background about yourself?
My name is Habeeb Aforolagba. I'm an electrical engineer by profession. I've been working in the renewable energy for over 6 years. So AFREN was founded a few months back to accelerate Africa's renewable energy revolution. So I've been working with some professionals in the industries, with different companies to accelerate new energy in Africa. AFREN was founded to address Africa's pressing need for reliable, affordable, and sustainable energy solutions through empowering renewable energy professionals and enthusiasts with training and fostering strategic partnership. AFREN cultivates a thriving renewable energy ecosystem. Our goal is to bridge the gap in renewable energy knowledge, service, product availability, and financing while creating a sustainable value chain for renewable energy development. Our mission is to accelerate renewable energy adoption in Africa by empowering professionals, fostering strategic partnership, and expanding access to sustainable energy products, services, and financing while driving scalable energy solutions.
What are the most significant challenges you have observed in this regard?
The most significant challenge in renewable energy, as far as I'm concerned, from my experience, is financing. It's financing of the renewable energy system. We need finance. When people want to adopt renewable energy, particularly when you speak about renewable energy, people think about solar only, but solar is not really renewable energy. Renewable energy is comprised of solar, bioenergy, wind energy, but the most common and the most advanced technology that's easy to deploy is solar. So that is why people focus on the solar aspect. When you look at the solar, it's also one of the cheapest out of those energy system, is because you can deploy it in different sizes, unlike others that you need a minimum size to deploy and you need some condition before you can deploy. But solar is easy to deploy. But with that, we still have financing challenges. People want reliable energy, they want affordable energy, and the most affordable energy we have now is solar. But when you speak about the cost, particularly the upfront cost, is discourage people. So that is why the highest challenge you're having in renewable energy now is financing. So that is why we're trying to work with end users and solar financial institutions to bridge this gap to solve this challenge.
How does AFREN differentiate itself from other organizations working in this space?
Yeah, what the hate happen is that we are a network. We work with other organizations, other companies that have the same vision with us. They want to power Africa with reliable and sustainable energy solution. So we are not in competition with different companies. If you have a company that have the same mission and vision with us, we are ready to work together and have the same network. So we focus on training. We train people. After training, we collaborate on deploying solution. If you want to deploy a renewable energy solution to solar, we can collaborate to deploy a solution. And also, if you have an event or any other thing that we can collaborate together to make sure that we achieve our vision and mission, we are open to it. So we are not in competition. We are in network. We want to work together to achieve the same aim. That is one of the biggest things that differentiates AFREN from some other organizations that are working in the energy industry.
You emphasize bridging gaps in knowledge, product availability, and financing. Could you give us a concrete example of how AFREN is achieving this?
The concrete knowledge, for the knowledge, we did a training last year, November, and for the training is an online training. We had participants that enrolled for the training across Africa. We have participants from Nigeria, the host country, Ghana, Kenya, South Africa, and even outside Africa. We have participants from India that joined the training. We have participants from United Kingdom that joined the training. We have more than 100 participants that join the training. So it's part of the way we are for people to know energy, to be aware of it, how the system works. We had two webinars too earlier this year. We had a webinar on solar, and we also have another webinar on bioenergy. So that is part of our training strategy. We are also planning to start physical training. Before the end of the year, we are planning to start physical training so that from the theory people learn online, those that are close by, they can also have physical training. And also product availability. We are working with different product manufacturers. As in Africa, we have some manufacturers, but manufacturers of renewable energy system, they are not much in Africa. So what we usually have in Africa is that we have more distributors. We have distributors of those renewable energy products to work with them to make sure that the system are easily as available to professionals that will carry out the work. Because when you have products, we need to have service. So we need to synergize between those that have the product and those that will carry out the service to make sure that it's available to the end users. So we are working on that, and we are innovating to make sure that we keep improving on that.
And the software is free, right?
Yes, the software is we are still working. We have our website, but we are trying to have the solar calculator in it, but we've not developed it. The webinar we did the last time is majorly for professionals, for them to know how to size solar system. We did a webinar on Open Solar is a free software for people to use to size solar system. So we did that for solar professionals, so even know how to use it in order to know how to size the right solar system for their customers. So we have some companies that have solar calculators on their website that we can introduce to people for those that needs that.
How do you ensure that the solutions that you are coming up with are implemented in such a way that it's appropriate for local people's needs and are culturally appropriate for them?
So what is there is that when we are developing solutions, that is why we started with training. Why we started with training is that for us to start from the grassroots, from different communities, we should have people. The people that stand the needs of a local community, they are those that are from the local community. Like for now, I'm from Nigeria. Someone cannot come from outside and understand the problem of Nigeria more than me. For him to understand people, we have to work. So that's why we started with training for different people from the community to have knowledge about solar system. When they have knowledge about the renewable system and the likes, they can relate it to what they have in their community. Like the knowledge I now have, how can I use it to solve the problem in my community? So we are not importing a solution. We want people in the community to think, how can I use renewable to solve the problem in my community? So when you have that, those in the community are able to develop solution, and we can work together with external party to solve the solution. So we are not importing a solution to different community or to different people. We are working with the people in the community, so I have the knowledge about the renewable system, and they're able to work on developing solution for it. So we are not importing a solution. We are working with the local community, the people in the locality. Like in Nigeria, we have in our solar professional network that we have people across Nigeria that someone can be contacted for service. So it's not that someone will come from a far place to present a solution. No, the people that understand the solution most are those that are from the community.
Africa is a vast continent with diverse energy needs. What are the most promising renewable energy technologies for different regions in Africa?
We have different new energy technology, but when you look at those technology, they have their advantage and they have their shortcomings. Like when you start from the most popular, that is the solar. The solar is the most known renewable energy. Some when you speak about renewable energy, what comes to some people that is only solar. So, but solar is just part of renewable energy. You have diverse renewable energy sources. You have solar, we have hydropower, we have biomass, we have wind energy. Africa is the sunniest continent on earth. We have abundant sunlight. So solar is currently the most promising in technology for different regions in Africa. As far as Africa is most North Africa, South Africa, East Africa, West African country can deploy solar solution across those continents. So solar is the most promising technology. Also, we have wind technology. The wind technology is also a good renewable technology, but is not feasible from some region because of the wind density in some regions. When you deploy wind energy in some region, you will not get the expected yield. It will not be a loss because you won't get the revenue from it. because the wind intensity in those areas are poor. For like example, in Nigeria, our wind intensity is low. We can just have small wind turbines. We can't have a big one. But we should go to some countries like South Africa that can drive the wind turbine. So it's not all countries that have that. As far as I'm concerned, solar is the most feasible technology for most regions in Africa. Then after solar, we have wind. After wind, we have hydro. After hydro, we also have biomass. It's also developing, but the technology is developing. We also hope in the future more of it, because we have enough of it. We have high potential of developing biomass too, bioenergy too. It's also something. Also green energy. Most of the new energy sources, they are feasible in Africa. We have that potential of it. We can be an exporter of renewable energy in Africa, just the way we are exporting the different raw materials. We can be exporting renewable energy to other continents too. So we should export it. But for now, the most feasible technology is solar.
Because it's so flexible. You can have any number anywhere. It doesn't depend on grid. You can just connect it with batteries and make local grids, right?
Of course.
So you have some local grids in like villages have or small neighborhood can have just a local grid.
Of course, for example, in Nigeria, what's called Rural Electrification Agency, they are one of their aim is to electrify different communities. Africa is the region with the highest population of people without electricity. So the Rural Electrification Agency of Nigeria, we have that across different countries. They deploy electrical solution to different communities to energize them, to make sure that they have access to electricity. So most of the projects that are done by the agency, they are mostly solar, because it's easy to deploy, easy to maintain, it has the lowest cost. So just deploy inverter, battery, and solar panel to different community. And some of the community will be trained on how to maintain, depending on the size. And for solar technology, we have some we call mini grid. There's something we call mini grid. For a mini grid, it will be deployed like for a community now. We can deploy one mini grid for the community, one mini grid for each community. We also have what we call solar home system. For solar home system is for each household. Each household will have their own solar system. So it's a technology that is easy to manipulate. It's also a technology that is fixed. So if you want someone to have his own system, he can have it. If you want the whole community to have their own system, they can have it. So it's a technology that is easy to deploy and maintain.
How do you assess the long-term sustainability and scalability of these technologies?
Actually, solar is developing, and there is different innovation on this to make sure that more or it's you have more output, more heat from it. So it's a technology that has developed or is still developing. One of the things that most of the companies that deploy mini grid to some communities to do is that they used to have those that they will be trained to maintain the system, because in Africa we maintenance culture is low. But some of these companies, they are looking into that how can we make sure that we maintain this system that is able to supply what you need to those community.
You're passionate about developing both small and large-scale projects. What are the unique considerations for each type of project in the African context?
It depends. For each community, for each individual, we assess what is the best for them. Both small scale and large scale renewable technology, they are feasible, but for some places it's small scale renewable energy that is feasible. For example, the solar home system, when you get to a rural community, there are some community that there are some household that they are like 500 kilometers away. So for those community, you have to, what is the best solution for this community? It might be a solar home system. Can just deploy a solar home system for them. So each household will have their own system. There are some communities that they are close by, they are closer together. So for that, we can develop mini grids for those communities. We have rural areas and we have urban areas. For urban areas, that their household is the population density is high. It will be difficult to when you develop solar home system for your house, it might not be sufficient for the household. So for that, we can also have a mini grid, or what we call concentrated solar system, power system, in a remote community that will serve those rural communities. So there is no fit all system. It depends on the community you are powering, it depends on the place you are powering before you can know the time suitable renewable energy system to deploy for them.
What role do microgrids and decentralized energy systems play in Africa's energy future?
So microgrids and decentralized energy system, they are quite important in Africa. I have the experience one of it about Nigeria. For microgrid and decentralized energy system, when you have a decentralized system, when there is a fault with one, the others can keep working. But when it is centralized, that means when there is a fault with one, the others will be affected. In Nigeria, we used to have what we call grid collapse. One thing that's causing is that our national grid is connected together around the country. So when you have a grid collapse, all the country will be in darkness. Most part of the country will be in darkness, apart from some states that have their own decentralized power plants. You have some states in Nigeria that have their own decentralized system. So because they have decentralized system, they will still be powered on when the central system is faulty. But when you only have a central system, when there is fault, then that means the whole region will be in darkness. So the decentralized renewable system is very important in Africa, and is also easy to maintain. Is easy to scale. So it's something that the government across Nigeria and some other countries, they are looking to develop more of it.
So, are there a lot of load shedding in urban cities? And is there a lot of solar going in urban environments as well in the cities for load shedding and blackouts?
There is Nigeria now, they are called the ration power, load shedding. But it's like we have power will be given to a given community at a specific time. Then for another community, they'll give power to them at a specific time. Because what we have in Nigeria and most of other African countries is that the national grid, it can't supply the whole country as once. It can't power what the country is generating. So what you have is load shedding. A community we have power supply at a specific time. Another community we have power at another time. Another community we have another time. So it's what we have for now, and I think it will be long before that can change, because it will take time before we develop more power sources. So what we have load shedding in most African countries.
So, do people put solar on their roofs in cities to for times when there's no power?
Of course, the major reason why people install solar in Africa is because the grid is not reliable. You don't know when the grid will be available. I have grid supply now. It was supplied 30 minutes ago when they bought it. I don't by now, before we end the meeting, I might take it again. I don't know when they'll make it again. So one of the reasons why people add solar to their roof is that they want a reliable power supply, so that they can be able to use power anytime they want it. That is the major reason. The second is cost. In some areas, solar is cheaper than the grid. So some people prefer to have solar installed too. So those are the two major reasons why people install solar. We also have clean energy generating, but most Africans are not that concerned with that. The two major reasons why people install solar is because number one is reliability. So I will have reliable power, because the grid, there is no shedding in the grid. I don't know when there will be lights. They can take it anytime. So let me just have my solar to be supplying me. And also for the cost, unlike European countries, in Europe, there is reliable power supply. There's no load shedding that much. They have 24/7 supply. In a year, they can have 365 lights. There might not be lights flicking. There will be constant light. It's reliable. So for them, those in European countries, America and the like, they install solar to save costs. That's why they have solar on their roof, to reduce the cost. But the major reason, the primary reason why people install solar in Nigeria, in Africa, is a solar system, or in Africa, let's say solar system, is to have reliable power supply. Then the second is cost. Then the third is to have a clean source of energy.
So, solar is replacing the old generators when people used to have diesel power generators for those blackout times.
Of
So,
course,
now
solar is
instead
replacing
of
them
that,
gradually. For residential, we have petrol generator. There is petrol generators. So for residential, it's easy. Solar is replacing petrol generators. Also for businesses, commercial and industrial facility, they use diesel generators, big diesel generators, and some of them have gas generators. So solar is also replacing some of them. Solar and battery storage, they are replacing them, because when it's during the day, when the sun is out, the solar can supply the electrical appliance directly, and when there is excess power from the solar, it will be stored in the battery. So at night, someone can use energy from the battery. Also, someone can store energy from the grid. When the grid is available, you can store energy from the grid into the battery, and when the grid is down, you can. So the solar and battery is replacing the grid generators and petrol generators. They are replacing the fossil fuel generators in
because
Africa.
it's much cheaper. Solar is
It's
cheaper
not,
than generators, and solar and
of
batteries
course,
cheap.
yeah, you are right. They are cheaper. Just like the constraint, as I mentioned, is finance. The upfront cost, initial cost of solar system is more expensive than the upfront cost of a diesel generator. But the operating cost, because when you have a fossil fuel generator, you have to be fueling it, buying fuel, and fossil fuel is now expensive, especially in Nigeria. The petrol is now more than 800 naira, diesel per fuel 1,500 naira, so over $1 per liter. So people are going for alternative sources because of the high operating cost of fossil fuel generators.
AFREN focuses on empowering renewable energy professionals. How does AFREN provide training and resources to build capacity in the sector?
So the first is online training. You have the online training that we did last year, and before the end of the year, we hold another session, because we've started having requests from people around Africa that are reaching out that they want AFREN, they want to enroll for AFREN training. But it's not a training that is enrolled continuously. We have a specific time that we do the training. So we did the training last year. So this year we also be doing another online training. Then after the online training, we also have webinars. We have webinars that we will engage, we teach people different technology during the webinar. The first webinar we had a webinar last month on Open Solar. Open Solar is a solar design software. So to let people know about the software, particularly the solar professionals, they should know about the software. We also had a webinar on bioenergy. Then last month we had a webinar on bioenergy. Before the end of the year, we are planning to have a webinar on hydropower. We are having hydropower. We also having a webinar on green hydrogen. We will also be having webinar on EV, electric vehicles. Electric vehicle is developing in Europe, in Asia, as well in China. So we are also planning to have a webinar on it, and also we can develop trainings on those. So those trainings they are handled by professionals in the industry. Like now, I'm in charge of solar. I'm a solar professional. I know about wind turbine, wind energy, but I don't know much about. I don't have the practical experience. So for us to have a training on wind or hydropower, we need to have a professional that is in that field. So for AFREN, we have different professionals in different fields. It's just someone that is doing all the trainings. Like the webinar we did last month, it was headed by someone with practical experience on bioenergy. So we need someone with practical experience that can relate their experience, that can teach people what they know, so that they're able to develop. We are not focused on theories only. We want practical. Those are practical experience. So that's one days we are doing. And also we are planning to start our physical training before the end of the year. When you have the resources, we commence physical training.
Are you trying to do any vocational training or in community colleges or vocational training programs to train people in solar and electricians to help with the solar installations?
We are planning that, but we've not started. One of the ways we are also doing is to partner with those that are already doing it. As I mentioned earlier, our friend is into partnership. We are open to partnership. If you have some companies that are already doing that, we can just partner with them. How can we come in? How can we enhance the training? We have a network now. We call it Solar Professionals Network. The Solar Professionals Network, they are all around Nigerians. So we can partner with them that some of those professionals, they need those that can come for internship, those that are come for internship. So we pair those that want to come for internship with those solar professionals so that they can train them on solar system. We can do it, or we partner to ensure that we achieve our aim. We also have some companies, like organizations that goes to school and train people on solar and the like. So we can partner with them and the likes. We are applying it so from our own end, AFREN, that we can go to, particularly during the holiday period, during the people are after school, they can come for training on solar and the like, so that they have the knowledge about solar system, how the system work, so that they can be able to develop it or pursue a career in it. Because when you know about a system, you can say, I want to specialize in this. Like if you know about aeroplane aeronautics, I want to be an aeronautic engineer because I have the theoretical knowledge. So when someone have the theory of solar system, When someone have theoretical knowledge of renewable energy system, it will spur their interest in it. Let me also pursue a career in this, because the renewable energy is still developing, opportunity in it, different sectors, different scholarship opportunities. So when those students, when they know about renewable energy system, they can spur their interest in it, and they can pursue a career in renewable energy system. So thank you very much.
How do you address the challenge of retaining skilled professionals in the African renewable energy sector?
Retaining skilled professionals in Africa is something that is not within AFREN's capacity, because trained professionals, in from my experience, particularly those with high technical knowledge, they are not well appreciated in Africa. Those with high technical knowledge, they are not high efficient. Some of them move to other countries like Europe, because there is high development opportunity. There is better pay in Europe than in African countries. So is the function of the government and the labor union, the workers, and the likes that can work more on that to make sure that our skilled professionals are retained in Africa to develop Africa. Because when the skilled professionals, when they leave Africa, who will develop the continent? We need more support from the government and other organizations to ensure that the skilled professionals, they are well compensated. Because when someone is well compensated, then you not think of leaving. But when you are not getting the compensation you want, when you are not getting the development you want, the opportunities you want, someone will have to leave to other better regions. So the governments need to work more on that.
How do you make strategic partnerships, and what types of partnerships are crucial for accelerating renewable energy adoption in Africa?
So the partnership we currently have, they are in development. The first one is training partnership. If someone have a knowledge about the renewable energy system, like someone that knows about hydropower, someone that's know about EV, electric vehicles, someone that's know about biomass, they can volunteer to join AFREN. I want to train people on this thing. I want to train people on this renewable technology because I have it. And also services, those that provide services, particularly in the solar industry. We have the solar professionals that provide solar services. So we work together to ensure that we meet the need of the end users. So that the end users will be able to get the system, the solution that will work for them. So we work with solar professionals. Also for organizations, even with organizations, we have organizations that are into empowering people. We can work together. Let's empower people together. So make sure that we energize Nigeria and Africa.
How do you ensure that these partnerships are mutually beneficial and contribute to long-term sustainability?
At AFREN, when a relationship is beneficial, the partnership is beneficial to us if we are working towards our vision and mission. So what we also ensure is that we try to align, we look at the vision and mission of the organization or the individual we want to partner with. So make sure that we work towards that. So that because that's what will be mutually beneficial for us. If the other organization is only working towards our own mission and vision, then that means it's only beneficial to the organization. And if we are only working towards the mission and vision of the organization, and we are just earning them money and our pay, it will be beneficial to us too. So make sure that we align our mission and our vision together to make sure that we are able to work together and the partnership is mutually beneficial to us.
Can you give examples of any specific partnerships
Currently,
you've done?
AFREN is just in the developmental stage. For the trainings, there's partnership with different professionals in other renewable energy technology. I don't know much about biomass, but there are professionals that know about biomass. So we work together with them. Can you train people on biomass? There are some professionals that know about electric vehicles. So we have someone in electric that's head electric vehicles in AFREN. We have someone that is head of electric vehicles. We have someone that is head of hydropower because she knows about hydropower. That is her specification. We have someone in green hydrogen because that is her own specification too. She knows about green hydrogen. So work together. They also from there they also achieve their own aim and objective. Also for the service provider, we currently have solar professionals that we work with. Solar professionals that want to provide solution to end users. So we'll make sure that the aim of solar professionals is that they want to provide solar solution for individuals and organizations and companies. So we'll make sure that how can we work with them on this? One of the ways we try to work on is that we work with also with solar system distributors, like the manufacturers of solar system. We connect the manufacturers with the professionals, so I can get the product from them directly, as so that the cost will be cheaper. We also work with end users, solar end users, like the customers. Someone can come to us that he need a solar system for his residential apartment or his business, and we will link the person with a solar professional that can provide the service for the person. Nigeria is big, we have different states, different communities. So we look for someone that is close by to the community, someone that is close to the customer that can offer that service to the customer. So that is one of the ways we are innovating on some other ways to enhance collaboration.
Innovation is key to driving the renewable energy revolution. What are some of the most exciting innovations you're seeing in African context?
Most exciting innovation is that for me, from a technical part of it, is that we have some companies that are coming up to develop solar system. I mentioned earlier that in Africa we have distributors of renewable systems, so particularly solar system. When you look at the manufacturers of solar system, the Jinkos, Longi, and the other solar manufacturers, Phoneos, Huawei, and the likes, they are not in Nigeria, they are outside. We have some companies in Nigeria that are already trying to manufacture those products locally, so that we have local availability of those products. We don't need to be waiting on importation. The raw materials they used to produce, like the lithium batteries, some of them are you can have them in Africa, the lithium ions. So you have them. So can we also try to start manufacturing in Africa? Although it's not an easy process, but we have some companies that are into that. Like in Nigeria now, we have like two companies that are into assembly of solar system. They assembly the system. Also, there's one. There's particularly in South Africa. We have lots of them in South Africa. We also have some companies that are manufacturing batteries in South Africa. Also in Egypt, we have companies that is manufacturing battery in Egypt. So when you have those products locally available in Nigeria, locally manufactured in Nigeria, is an innovation in the right direction. All the innovation I'm seeing is that government support, government are increasing their support for some of those industry, for the new energy industry. I think those are impressive innovations.
So you're seeing hybrid inverters and micro inverters, and what's working better?
Hybrid inverters and micro in Africa we majorly use hybrid inverters. We use hybrid inverters mostly because we need battery to add to the system. So we use hybrid inverter. It's easy to add battery to it. We are using micro inverter, the cost will be higher. The cost will be higher. So for Europe and other countries that don't need much battery, that don't need storage, they use micro inverters. But mostly in Africa, we use hybrid inverter mostly.
And you're using lithium ion batteries, or what kind of batteries are you mostly using?
Previously, most people use lead acid. People use lead acid before. But for over a year now, the rate that people are using lithium ion batteries has increased, because people have seen that lithium ion battery it has high efficiency. The initial cost might be high, but the savings over the year is much more better than the lead acid. And also it occupies less space because it has high energy density. So people are using more lithium ion batteries because it lasts span too for over 10 years, 5 years, 15 years. But lead acid just like 3 years maximum. And the manufacturers of those batteries, for lead acid, most of the manufacturers they give 6 months warranty on it, maximum of 12 months warranty. But for lithium ion batteries, manufacturers give 5 years warranty or 10 years warranty on it. So the end users they are much more aware now. So they are going for lithium batteries because it has more cost saving, it lasts longer. So people are using more of a lithium ion battery in Nigeria.
How can African innovators access the funding and support they need to bring their own ideas to market?
A way for African innovators to access funding and support is, firstly, there need to be more collaborations. There need to be more collaborations between those the innovators. The innovation should not be a clear innovation like this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm doing. Just that can just term it innovation, but it's not a real innovation. So this is what we are focusing on in our company. This is what we are innovating on, and also working closer with the government is very crucial. because government has a great role to play in expanding renewable energy in Africa. So working closer to the government agency and the likes. Also for international organizations, we have international organizations that are funding local innovators. We have something like the organization we have we call it's called Sustainable Energy for All. Sustainable Energy for All. They fund innovation, they empower innovators. We also have all this European Union and the likes that empower innovators in Africa. Also, many opportunities like that. But when you have a clear cut innovation and you market yourself, you show the world what you have. The international supporters, government will also provide support for those innovators.
Stakeholder engagement is crucial for project success. How do you involve local communities and other stakeholders in your projects?
Involving local communities is actually very crucial. So I can give examples on some projects that have been deployed by rural electrification agency. They are in charge of providing electrifying rural communities, and they engage with the communities to make them be aware of the system. There was a video I watched sometimes ago where local community, they were breaking solar panels. They were breaking because they believe that the solar panel is the one that is not allowing to fall, and the solar panel is disturbing it. So we have to work with local communities to make them be more aware of the system that they have. From our part, for AFREN, we are currently mostly in the urban community. We have urban and rural community. So some of them are aware of solar system, they are aware of the energy system. But we just need to we orientate them more about the system. So I'll be aware of what the system is capable of doing and what the system is not capable of doing. In the urban community now, there are some people that don't know the performance of a system. When you have an inverter now, inverter can be 500 watts. Might want to use the inverter to power a load of 700 watts. That is not possible. Inverter of watts. So you have to orientate the end users. Now this is what the system can power. If you have this battery, this size of battery, this is what this battery can power. So it's something that is very important. It's very something that is very crucial to work more with local communities and also the end users of renewable system. So I will be aware of the system, because when they are not aware of the system, they will abuse it. They will abuse. But when they are aware of this is what the system can do, this is what is required, they will be able to work with the system requirements and there won't be any complaint.
What are the most effective strategies for overcoming resistance or skepticism towards renewable energy in certain communities?
The most effective strategy is to involve them. When you get them involved, the skepticism will be out of it. But if you don't get them involved, they will be skeptic about it. Like you are just coming to a community and you are just deploying renewable system there. They won't appreciate it that much. But you get them involved from the beginning, from the planning stage, you get them involved, let them be aware of the advantages of the system, the opportunity they have by using the system. So it will be something that they will be looking forward to it. But when they are not engaged, there will be problems in the future. So the best solution is to involve the community, to involve the end user of the system, let them be aware of the solution someone is providing and the opportunities in renewable energy.
What are the biggest policy and regulatory challenges facing the renewable energy sector in Africa?
The government are also aware of the opportunities in renewable energy and they are providing support. Nigeria, before, there was a lot, something like a regulation that you have a certain size of system you can deploy. It's around 1 megawatt solar system. So the maximum you can deploy for commercial facilities in 1 megawatt. If it is up to 1 megawatt, then you have to supply with these electrical distributors. But now the regulation has been removed. So you can develop a solar solution of up to 1 megawatt in Nigeria as a private owner. You use it alone. You don't need to work with and distribute it to local grids. You can say, I want to develop a 1 megawatt solar system in Nigeria and use it privately. So the regulation has been removed. So the government too, they are aware of the opportunities in renewable energy. They are also working to support that. So when there is a bottleneck or regulatory challenges, the stakeholders, they discuss with the government and the other relevant authorities and is often resolved.
What policy changes are needed to create a more favorable environment for renewable energy investments?
More favorable environment for me, from my experience, how we say is the governments can come in to possibly subsidize solar system, the cost, subsidize the upfront cost, because the major challenge why people are not going for renewable energy solar system is because of the upfront cost. So if it can be subsidized, for example, in Nigeria, government were paying subsidy on fossil fuel before, diesel fuel, so they're paying the subsidy on it, like some other countries too. In Europe too, there are some countries that pay subsidy on some of those fuels. So if government can give subsidy too on getting a solar system, it's something that will increase the adoption of renewable energy system, particularly in Africa. South Africa did something similar for businesses. They give subsidy to businesses that want to switch to solar. And also our currency fluctuates a lot in Africa. So particularly it increased in Nigeria now. $1 is around 1.5. So when the currency is fluctuating, but because of solar system to be increasing, because we are solar system into Nigeria. So when the exchange rate is high, the cost of getting a system will also be high. So if there can be more regulation to make sure that the currency fluctuation is reduced and we have a more competitive exchange rate, is to help solar adoption. And also investors, when the currency is fluctuating, investors do not want to invest in such environments. So what economies that have a stable currency investors, so it's something that is also important. Also in some regions in Africa, there is political instability, like political instability and the likes, and war, fighting and the likes. So for those areas, if that can be eliminated or reduced, that will also support, because when there is war, when there is conflict, people will not think of development. But when there is a peaceful environment, people will be thinking about development. So for a war-torn region or community, people will not think of development. So also, we need to look more of into that peaceful region. How can we
What kind of loans are available for people to install solar?
let me say from Nigeria aspect, because I'm in Nigeria, there is no loan from the government actually for now, direct loan from the government. What we have from many private institutions, even from banks, financial banks, there are loans. You can get a loan to get a solar system, and you can now someone can now spread the payment for like 12 months, 24 months, up to 48 months. People can spread the payment. They'll be paying a monthly fee. Depending on the size of system someone is getting. There are some small system that someone will be paying weekly. Someone will be paying like $1 weekly. $1 weekly. There are some small system that way. But for big system, people usually pay monthly, a fixed amount monthly. And after that, the system will become theirs. Because you have different options actually. The first one is the outright purchase. When you purchase a system instantly and it becomes yours, like a big system or a small system, you purchase it instantly. The people love that, because when you go for that, it will become yours at once. There's also what you call where people lease, when people pay a monthly fee. So when you pay a monthly fee, after some time, the system will become someone, like maybe it can be after 24 months, can be after 12 months, can be after 48. Because then there's the third one as a service, like IPP, a provider, that will just be they will just be supplying power to you and you're paying for what you are using. But that one is majorly for IPP, independent power provider, is majorly for businesses, for industrial facilities. They are not that available for residential or small businesses.
What kind of loans are the most effective?
But it depends actually. For residential facility, the loan that is most expensive is to go for owning the system. After like 12 months or 24 months, you own the system.
The loan period is just 2 years, 24 months. And after that, you own the system. Because the solar lasts
Yes,
for like 25 years, right?
of course. So you have mostly they are 12 months, 24 months. Those are ones that is the most common.
That means the payback is around in 2, 3 years, they get the payback for the system and then it's free.
Of course, 3 years, 4 years, for solar system, actually, the solar panel have a lifespan of over 25 years for solar panel. And for lithium batteries, they can last up to 10 to 15 years. 10 to 15 years. So someone, if the payback period is up to like 3 or 4 years, so that means for 10 years, someone will be enjoying free energy from the sun. So it's something that is an investment. So I tell people that the renewable energy system is an investment. When you get a renewable energy system, if you buy it outrightly, you won't be paying, like you won't be paying operating costs like fossil fuel generators, where someone will be worried on getting fuel and the like. That will be out of. So when you get the system, possibly for outright purchase, or if it's by loan and you pay for it for over 12 months or 24 months, after that the system becomes on. Someone will be enjoying free energy. So you need to be paying again. Just be small maintenance. So it's something that is an investment actually.
And it's good for countries' finances, especially if you're not a oil or gas producing country. Then if prices go up or down, if prices go shoot up because of something that happens in the world, then the country's finances go out of control because they're faced with very high import bills for fuel.
Of course, you'll not be worried about that. So is energy, and you'll not be worried about price fluctuation. Even for the grid supply, is the price fluctuates. The price fluctuates. Like for currently in Nigeria, less than a year ago, they introduced bande that is over 30% increase from the price. So for someone that is using a solar system or energy system, won't be worried about that because it's getting the sun, the price of the sun will not increase. The sun will always be coming out every day. So the price will not increase. You get a constant supply of energy. Also, you will be free from price fluctuation. So that is one of the advantages.
Which country in Africa has the highest penetration of solar?
South Africa. So that's why they are one of the most in Africa. Actually, South Africa is one of the countries that is deploying solar solution in large quantity because they have a high. Actually, in Africa, we have high wind, high solar penetration. Actually, but it also depends. In case now in Nigeria, we have 4 regions in Nigeria: north, south, east, and west. The northern part of Nigeria have high, high. So you have high. So also in South Africa, they have a high solar in that is the region that it's high solar penetration.
Which other markets are you excited about in Africa? Which other countries for solar power?
It's South Africa. It depends on the region. In West Africa, Nigeria is in West Africa, so is the major player of developing new energy in West Africa. Then we have in East Africa, I think it's Kenya. Kenya is a developer. Also, we have in North Africa is Egypt and Morocco. Egypt and Morocco. So it depends on the region, but it depends on the region you are speaking of.
And what is the level of EV adoption, electric vehicles for cars or motorcycles?
So EV is something developing, but unlike solar has people have accepted solar up to a high level, but for EV, it's something that is just, like, for example, in Nigeria, it's not something that people have started accepting that much. You have some companies that are into it, that are already into it, particularly. You have a bank in Nigeria that is developing that is investing into that. They have EVs in Nigeria. They even set a record recently. Google. So in South Africa, so EV is actually developing in South Africa very much. They have some. They're also having some charging stations in South Africa, but in Nigeria, it's coming up. In Kenya too, I'm hearing about that. They're also developing it, but it's not something that have been well accepted. One of the constraints of EV is having a charging station. So we need to more of how can we develop charging station for the EV. We are having problem of electric supply for EV. EV is need electricity to charge it. So we've not been able to solve electric supply to some extent. So you're not speaking about EV. We need to have a care cut on how we are going to solve the electricity challenge. Then after that, we now go to EV. Europe and China that are already into EV, they have constant power supply. They also have different charging stations. So there is no problem. They don't have problem with EVs. But most African countries, we are having problems with electricity. So EVs cannot be that developed that much for now. But it's developing actually. Be by like 2 years time, you see most people keying into EV because it has more advantage than the fossil fuel vehicles. So, but for now, it's actually still developing, but it has not developed as much as solar adoption.
What are your predictions for the future of renewable energy in Africa in the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, for my prediction, particularly for the residential facility, most residential facility will adopt solar system because it's a cheap source of energy, reliable, and also the grid is not reliable. Firstly, and also the price is fluctuating. Are paying subsidy, for example, in Nigeria now, paying subsidy on electricity for some customers. So they might remove it. They might remove the subsidy anytime soon, and making the cost of the grid to increase. So when the cost of grid increases, people will look for alternative, and the visible alternative is what? The solar. So most residential apartments, residential facility in Nigeria and some African countries will be switching to solar. In 5 years' time, it will be difficult to have a residential apartment in Nigeria without solar. Most residential apartments in Nigeria will have adopt solar in like 5 to 10 years' time. Also for the businesses, commercial facilities, commercial and industrial facilities, they will have adopted solar because it's a free source of energy. It's also cheap. It's also for the to have a clean environment, for emissions, reduce emissions.
For aspiring renewable energy professionals and entrepreneurs in Africa, what advice would you give them?
Actually, the renewable energy is developing, and there are numerous opportunities in the renewable energy industry. So, for aspiring professionals, they are welcome. There is vast opportunity in it. That if you want to go into academic part of it, you can go into making research on the renewable energy system. There are tertiary institutions that are offering scholarship, master PhD degree on renewable energy system, for instance. So there are boundless opportunity in it. Also, for professionals that want to work in the industry, like probably technicians and engineers, energy industry is developing. So there are opportunity in it. There are companies that are looking for skilled professionals to work for them. Like you mentioned, EV is also part of the renewable energy. So it's developing. When you have knowledge about the renewable energy system, you can easily key into electric vehicles. So it's something that is evolving, it is still evolving. So there's boundless opportunities. So there might be challenges in the beginning, like learning or career development. One now be particularly the compensation part. Like when you are just starting a career, people will not appreciate what you have. The compensation might be low, like the pay, the salary, it might be low at the beginning. But for those that can stay, learn for like 2 or 3 years, before you know it, their skill will be valuable, and they'll be able to contribute more to the Africa. Also want to live, maybe paid in Africa, they want more compensation. Also other regions, other continents, Europe, Asia, they are also developing renewable energy. You can go to China, Saudi Arabia, UAE, and the likes. They are developing. So there is boundless opportunity. If you don't want to work, relocate to another continent, there's opportunity to work in renewable industry there. You see there's some adverts now in some continent. You see them looking for, searching for renewable energy professionals, skilled renewable energy professionals. So there are boundless opportunity in the industry.
How can they connect with AFREN and contribute to your mission?
So for professionals, we actually have a social media platform that when we have something, a program or a training, that we advertise our training. Also, someone can reach out to our email info@afrenafrica.com if you need more information, or partner@afrenafrica.com if you want us to partner. So those are also, we also have another one for those in the solar industry that want to focus on solar, solar@afrenafrica.com. So you can reach out to us, you can discuss whatever you want. We are open to collaboration, we are open to partnership, we are open to developing in renewable energy in Africa. Yeah, we have a lot of information. Currently, we have, but we are also trying to add to it. We have some information. When you go to our website and you see about us section, you will see where you can contact us from there. So we're also trying to add some other things to the website. We are also trying to add some other green energies to the website before the end of the year. Yeah. But our website is up and running, but we are still innovating on it to improve it as time goes on.
And you have a YouTube channel too, right?
That YouTube channel. So the training we did last year, some extracts, we added some extracts on it. We added some of the training. Also, the solar webinar that we had, solar design software, it was posted on the YouTube channel. Also, the bioenergy webinar, it was posted on the YouTube channel. So when you hold the webinar, we are going to post it on the YouTube channels for people to go to it. So we are also innovating to add more content to the YouTube channels as time goes on.
Very nice. So people
Thank you
can
very much.
get access to a lot of information there.
Yeah.
Well, Habib, this has been an incredibly insightful and inspiring conversation. Thank you for sharing your expertise and the work of AFREN with us.
Thank you for having me. It was a great opportunity. Thank you very much.
And to our viewers, thank you for joining us on Clean Titans. Please subscribe, follow us for more insightful and exclusive interviews into the world of clean energy and sustainable development. Until next time, stay energized.